Hey gaming fans, so today I got another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. Today is kind of an odd choice. It's a Shaddoll deck that uses the calculator. I like to build these kind of weird decks. I don't like to stick to the status quo. So Shaddolls are the kind of archetype that you can kind of build lots of different decks around. And I thought, the calculator is a good choice. So let's build a deck around the calculator. Anyways, I'll get to the deck choice, or the deck, and explain my choices as I go. So for sure we have 3 of the calculator. It was funny that when I first built the deck, I thought maybe 2 would be enough. But then I realized, no, you definitely need the 3, just to make sure you get it at some point. This card it's an interesting card. I've always loved building decks around this guy. He just gets a 300 attack boost for each of the levels on your side of the field. So all your monsters you control, you count up all their levels, and then he gets that times 300. So obviously if you're playing big high-level monsters, he gets really big really fast. Otherwise, on his own, he's just 600, which is nothing really. So the next, so I guess we'll get into the Shaddolls part of it. So I'm playing 3 of the Hedgehog, because this one searches out a spell or a trap card from your deck to your hand. That's a Shaddoll card. So you can grab either your fusion cards or you can grab the trap, which is really important in this deck. Also, he has that other ability that if he is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add one to a Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand. Then I played 3 of the Shaddoll Wendy. This one's actually really good, and it's, these are part of the structure deck. So when she flips over, you special summon a Shaddoll monster from your deck face up or face down to defense position. And also, if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you do the same thing essentially. You search your deck for a Shaddoll monster and bring it to the field face up or face down. So normally, usually when I was testing this, I was always going after the beast, but I guess it would depend on what is on your opponent's side of the field and what you need to really get out of your deck. Then I play 2 of the Shaddoll Squamatas. These are good for getting rid of some monsters off your opponent's side of the field. And also, if he's sent to the graveyard, you could send one. What is it? You can send one Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard. So you can send any of your other ones and then activate their secondary effect. Then I put in 1 dragon. I was kind of struggling between the ratios here, but I ended up just putting in 1 dragon for now. He's got a good body, 1900 attack, and he just returns a card your opponent controls to the hand. So it's okay. I mean, if there's like a face down card on your opponent's side of the field, in the spell and trap zone or something, you can just bounce it back to their hand on your turn if he survives during your opponent's turn, that is. And then you can, make sure your path is clear for your attack. His other effect is you can target 1 spell or trap on the field and destroy it. So he just helps get rid of back row. And for the final Shaddoll, I use 2 of the Beast. I would love to play this guy at 3, but he just becomes really cloggy. And you can only use each of these Shaddoll effects once per turn. So having too many of them in your hand would be a bad thing, and in your deck a bad thing. So I just figured 2 is good, because Wendy can just summon him to the field. And then when he flips, you draw 2 cards and then discard a card, which is good, because then if you discard one of these guys, you set off their secondary effect. And it's the same idea. Also, if he's sent from the graveyard by a card effect, you get to draw a card. So you can send him to the graveyard with your Squamata effect and draw that card. And for the last 2 monsters, you are running 3 effect veilers just as a hand trap, just to try and slow your opponent down, stop their monster effects from spoiling your fun, and 1 Blackluster Soldier. He's actually good because he's level 8, so he helps with the calculator. Between the 2 of them, you got 10 levels, so that makes your calculator pretty high. And you got your light targets and your dark targets. So I got the 3 effect veilers and the calculator's light. So you usually will have a 2 of the light and darks in there. Plus, if you go into any fusion summoning, you might pull out one of the fusion that's a light monster. And that's just the monsters right there. So let's go into the spells. So the first spell is Shaddoll Fusion, of course. The best fusion spell, one of the best fusion spells in the game, because if your opponent has a, otherwise it's pretty much polymerization, but if your opponent has a monster from the extra deck on the field, you get to fusion summon using monsters from your deck instead. I put in 2 L Shaddoll Fusion, which is pretty much, again, just polymerization, except it's a quick play. And so you can do some nice damage tricks with it. Only problem with this card is you can only activate 1 per turn, but that's okay. Usually you would use this as your finisher, if your opponent still has any life left. Then we got 1 Super Polymerization. Again, same deal. It's a quick play. Gets your fusion off the field, or from materials off the field. And, during the battle phase, you can attack and then use this to go into a fusion monster and attack again. Or you could use your opponent's monsters, which I think a lot of people like to use. Then I needed to figure out how to fix up my hand a bit, so I ended up putting in 3 Pot of Duality. I mean, not the most optimal card because you can't special summon, so you kind of got to work around that for that turn. But it's perfect on your opening draw. You get to dig into your deck 3 cards and fix up your hand. Look for that calculator if you need it. Look for BLS targets, whatever you need to look for. 1 Foolish Burial, because, being able to send all these Shaddoll cards from your deck to your graveyard. There's a reason why it's in the structure deck for the Shaddolls. Really good card. Again, also for Blackluster Soldier, if you need to get a light target in there. And whatever you throw in there, you can always Monster Reborn it. So I always play Monster Reborn, and unless there's a reason why you just can't run this card, it's just even if your opponent has some monsters to steal. And then to deal with back row 2 Twin Twisters. I like the Twisters because you get to actually discard a card, and sometimes that actually comes in handy. Again, Blackluster Soldier plays, or for whatever reason you just need to get that card into the graveyard. But also you get to get rid of 2 back row. So oftentimes in this game people aren't setting that many back row, and if they're playing back row heavy deck, then you're probably going to have to side against it. And that's the spells. Now on to the critical part of this deck, the traps. So the reason why I played that 1 Shaddoll monster that searches out spell and traps is because you want to get to your Shaddoll core. And there's a reason. This guy's a level, he's a trap monster. He turns into a level 9 monster. So paired with the calculator, you end up with 11 levels on the field just with these 2 guys alone. So that's pretty much the reason why I'm running Shadow Core in here. Also, it's a Shaddoll card. You can fusion with it, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add another spell. You get to add a spell or trap Shaddoll card back to your hand from the graveyard. Then to continue on with trap monsters, Statue of Anguish Pattern. This guy is great. I mean, if you get this guy out and then you set your other trap monsters, pretty much what he is he's a level 7. Again, for your calculator, that's 7 levels to add to his power. He's got a big defense, 2500 defense. Unfortunately, his attack is 0. But when he's face up on the field, whenever you pretty much summon a trap monster, you get to destroy 1 card your opponent controls. So, and it can be a spell or trap or a monster. Really good card. And perfect for stalling. And some more trap monsters. Abyss Stingray. And I was playing this in a different deck as well. I was playing that in my late deck that I just did, my Vanity's Ruler deck. But this one also, level 5, another good way to boost up the levels for your calculator. This one can't be destroyed by battle. And of course, if you have your pattern out, you get to blow up a card when you special summon this to the field. And he's got 1900 attack, which is good. Keep in mind too with Shaddoll Beast, he's a level 5 as well, so your Stingray and your Beast can Xyz into something if you really want to. Then the final, I guess you want to call it trap monster, I threw in 1 Quantum Cat. Now this is only there. He's got good defense, 2200 defense, 0 attack, so you won't be attacking with him. But you can, when you summon it, you get to decide what attribute you want, which is important for Shaddolls when you're doing your fusion summoning, because they have to be a certain attribute to bring out those fusion monsters. So you have to decide which one you're going to want to pull out, and then you just make that your Quantum Cat's attribute, and you can pull out the fusion monster of your choice. And one more trap to add it out is Resh Shaddoll Incarnation. This is actually pretty decent. I mean, it's kind of like a Monster Reborn. You target a Shaddoll monster in your graveyard, you special summon it in face up or face down defense position, and then you get the option, you can banish this card and one Shaddoll card to change the a Shaddoll monster on your side of the field, well, I guess any monster on your side of the field, face up or face down. So you can flip summon your beast on the turn that you get it set and get his effect off, or any of the other Shaddolls. And just for the extra deck, I threw in one of the Shaddoll Construct Link monsters. Probably won't go into that too much, but you know, it's there just in case. Then you get each of the Shaddolls, so each of the attributes. So I got the Winda, the Acapulcaloon, whatever that is, Construct. So we got the light one. These are both the darks. Got the light one, got the fire one, the earth, the water, because you can go into any one of these with your, you know, your Shaddoll cards. Your Shaddoll core can act as any of the attributes. Then I threw in a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, which is any 2 dark monsters on the field except tokens. So you can even use your opponent's dark monsters if they have them with your super polymerization. It's pretty cool. And I got some, I threw in these guys because, you know, I am playing Effect Veiler and he is a tuner. And I figured there might be a time where you can go into a Trishula or a Stardust Dragon because of your trap monsters having such high levels. You just need like the 5 and then a 4, I think it is, and then the Effect Veiler, you know, that kind of thing, and then you can go into it, and then Stardust, pretty explanatory. You got your 7, your level 7, and you just summon your Effect Veiler, and then you can go into your Stardust Dragon, or whatever level 8 you want. And then I got some Xyz monsters to show you. So we got Volcasaurus and Thunder Dragon of Ruler, Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac, Big Eye, and I think I'm missing one. Oh, there it is. Keeper of the Armageddon. So pretty much just problem solvers. These two are your rank 5s. Like I said, you can use the beasts with the trap monster, or 2 of the trap monsters, or 2 of the beasts to go into this. You got your charger in case you need piercing, which can overlay over any of these guys. Dracosac, which is really cool card. This used to be like the really expensive boss monster back in the day, but definitely a good level 7 choice, and Big Eye if you want to steal a monster. And that's it. That's pretty much what I do. So really in this deck, it plays a little bit different than your typical Shaddoll deck, because what you want to do is you want to get your big trap monsters out on the field, your Shaddoll cores, you get a couple of those out, and if you get out your calculator, I mean, he boosts to insane power. I mean, he gets up to like 5,000 pretty fast. He can get up even higher than that. And don't forget too, you can also end up with some of your Shaddolls on the field, which is, you know, he's a level 5, 6, 7. You got 9, you got 7, you got 9 again. Like, it just gets insane, and it can OTK your opponent if they're not expecting it. Especially if they don't have anything set in their back row, or maybe you get rid of it with your Twin Twisters. Pop all these guys out onto the field, summon your calculator. Next thing you know, they're practically dead. And if there's still any remaining life points left over, that's when you would play your El Shaddoll Fusion and fuse away a core and something that already attacked, and go into a fusion and go for game. That's pretty much the deck. It's a pretty simple concept, just trying to game your opponent with the calculator. Anyways, let me know what you think. Throw some comments down below. I'm always curious to see what you have to say. What would you change? What would you take out? Have you ever played this before? And yeah, I'll probably be building a couple more different Shaddoll style decks in the future. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.